Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I have a book haul. Now, we're going to do this a little differently because I recorded a book haul about a month ago or more. And I never uploaded it because I've not been in, or I have been in a very interesting place recently, and yeah, there's been a true lack of motivation, a true lack of focus in my reading. Like, it's not like I've hit a reading rut or a slump where I don't want to read. I just can't focus on whatever I'm reading, so I'm reading and then not finishing and going on to something else, which is not how I like to read. So, but that's like carried over not just into reading, but into all of my hobbies, including crocheting, coloring, video games, movie watching, all of it. So, but yeah, in the midst of feeling like that and not being able to focus, I recorded that book haul and never uploaded it. So I didn't want to rehash everything that I'd already recorded, so I'm going to throw that video in here now, and then once that's over, we'll come to this haul. See you in a second. I look a little bit more human in that video, so yeah. Hi everybody, it's Tatiana, and today I am coming with a book haul. And yeah, it's been, I think I did my last haul in April, and I did not think that I would have this many books acquired since then, but apparently in keeping with tradition, I have no self-control. So I wanted to share with you the books that I have picked up since the haul that I did in April. The first book is In the Afterlife, Light by Alexandra Bracken. This is book 3 in the Darkest Minds trilogy, and I have books 1 and 2. I haven't read them yet, but I saw this, and this book feels really, really heavy. Good Lord. I saw this in a discount bookstore, hence the discount sticker. And so, yeah, I went ahead and picked this up so that I have the complete trilogy, and when I do read it, I can just marathon it, which means that I would read it over the course of a year. Like, I suck at actually marathoning books. For me, a marathon means that I read it like a book a quarter in the series. Anyway, if you're not familiar with what that series is, I really couldn't tell you anything about it because I bought books 1 and 2 years ago, and I haven't read them yet. I also picked up Jane Steele by Lindsay Faye, and I was interested in this because I heard a lot of good buzz about it in discount bookstores, so I picked it up. If you're not familiar with this either has to do, it's Jane Eyre, yeah, this has to do with, it's like another kind, or a reimagining, I don't know, the words are difficult today, apparently. A sensitive orphan, Jane Steele suffers first at the hands of her spiteful aunt and predatory cousin, then at a grim school where she fights for her very life until she escapes to London, leaving the corpses of her tormentors behind her. After years of hiding from the law while penning macabre last confessions of the recently hanged, Jane thrills when she discovers that her aunt has died and her childhood home has a new master, Mr. Charles Thornfield, an army doctor returned from the sick wars who seeks a governess for a 9-year-old ward in his care. So yeah, that's as much of the synopsis that I am going to read. And actually, before I read this, I want to reread Jane Steele. I read Jane Steele as an audiobook, and I'm undecided as to whether or not I want to reread it as an audiobook or in print. Just not really sure how I want to go about that. I also picked up The Library at Mount Char, and yeah, this sounds like it's right up my alley. Carolyn's not so different from the other people around her. She likes guacamole and cigarettes and steak. She knows how to use a phone. Clothes are a bit tricky, but everyone says nice things about her outfit with the Christmas sweater over the gold bicycle shorts. After all, she was a normal American herself once. That was a long time ago, of course, because her parents died. Before her parents died, before she and the others were taken in by the man they called father. In the years since then, Carolyn hasn't had a chance to get out much. Instead, she and her adopted siblings have been raised according to father's ancient customs. They've studied the books in his library and learned some of the secrets of his power, and sometimes they've wondered if their cruel tutor might secretly be God. Now father is missing, perhaps even dead, and his library stands unguarded. Whoever claims it will also inherit absolute power over life, death, and all of creation. And then I'm guessing battles or contests ensue. That's as far as I've read myself in the synopsis. So that's as far as I'm going to read in this video. Then I also picked up A Dance of Blades by David Dalglish. I have A Dance of Cloaks that I got from Book Outlet that I hauled at the beginning of 2017. I haven't read it yet. But I found this at Second and Charles, and I went ahead and picked it up because I'm definitely going to read A Dance of Cloaks because, man, cloak, weapon. Did I point it right? Weapon. That's just hot. The next two books that I have are from Book of the Month. I won 3 months of credits or 3 credits on Book of the Month during Dewey's 24-hour readathon, and June was the first month. When was Dewey's? Was Dewey's in March or April? June was the first month that they had a book that I was very interested in, and so I picked up The Anomaly by Michael Rutger, and this is like if Indiana Jones and the X-Files had a baby with some horror and a cave that starts to attempt to defend itself from those who are exploring. I'm not sure if it's exploration or spelunking, or is spelunking cave exploration. Not quite sure. But when I read the synopsis, I was like, oh yeah, this is right up my alley, and I got this one. And then the most recent one that I got, which just got here yesterday, which feels significantly lighter than The Anomaly, that's very interesting, is Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I haven't even taken it out of the plastic casing yet, but I have not read Uprooted. I don't think that you have to read Uprooted in order to be able to read and follow what's going on in Spinning Silver. I'm not sure whether or not I want to read Uprooted. But Rumpelstiltskin is one of my favorite Grimm's stories from growing up. Basically, if you're not familiar with the story of Rumpelstiltskin, it features a daughter of a miller or merchant who is given to the king to be his slave because her father says that she can spin straw into gold. And so the king says, give her to me, and I'm going to make her work for free, and I'm going to lock her in this room where she can work for free and spin my straw into the gold shit that I want. And she can't do it because her father's a fucking liar, but he still shipped his daughter off on his lie. And this creature hears her crying and comes to her rescue, and he spins the straw into gold for her. And each time he comes more than once. Each time he comes, he asks her for something to give to him for his work. So she's a slave, but she's got to give him something to do for her, the work that her father lied and said that she can do, that she's supposed to be doing while she's in captivity. The last time the king says, well, if you do this last thing for me, I'll not only let you out of the room that I've locked you in, but I'll marry you so I can fuck you all the time. And so yeah, the creature comes again, and he says, well, what are you going to give me this time? And she said, shit, I ain't got nothing left to give your ass. I got nothing. And so he says, okay, that's fine. Give me your firstborn baby, because he already knows that the king's gonna move her up in the bondage echelon from slave to bedmate. He already knows that. So he's, taking advantage of the situation. She says, fine, because she ain't thinking that she gonna have a child no time soon. By the time she had one, he'll forget. His memory is longer than it takes for her to get her first baby. And so then he tells her, she begs him, give me some time with my baby before you take my baby away, because now not only have I been a slave and then a forced wife and toy. Now I have to give the fruit of my loins to this creature who helped me for something that I didn't even get paid for. And so she asked for more time, and she sends out someone to try and, to go and collect names, so that when he comes, she has a list of names that she could go through to see if she could guess his name, because he tells her, if you can guess my name, you'll be able to keep your baby, or I'll let you keep your baby. And so he comes once, she doesn't have any names that fit. He comes twice, she doesn't have any names that fit. Third and last time, because third time's a charm, the man she sends out has overheard him singing and gloating about, she's never going to know my name because my name is Rumpelstiltskin, and comes back and tells her. And so she goes through about 4 names, and he says, nope, that's not it. Nope, that's not it. And then she says, it's your name, Rumpelstiltskin, and he get mad, and he's like, you bitch, he did, it's a fairy tale, so he didn't really cuss, but he's like, you bitch, you found this out through trickery, but he has to leave, because, she knew his name. And so, yeah, that is the story of Rumpelstiltskin, abridged, my way. But yeah, I am really excited to read this. I just don't know if I need to read Uprooted first. The next stack, that was a long ass talk about Rumpelstiltskin, but the next stack is our graphic novels. My comic book store is closing, or has closed at the point that I'm recording this video, but we're getting a new one. But when my comic book store closed, they had a sale, so yeah, I went and got some additional comics. This first comic and the last comic in the stack were not purchased from there, but the first that I have was not purchased from there again, and this is Lazarus X66, because this is apparently what Greg Rucka has decided he's going to do instead of releasing the next fucking volume. But these are, I believe, vignettes of the other Lazari from the other families in the Lazarus dystopian world. If you are not familiar with the Lazarus comic, get your life. Read them, because they're awesome. I absolutely love this series, and that is the only reason why I was willing to purchase this, because in volumes 1 and 2 you get to see a couple of the other, 1, 2, and 3, you get to see some of the other Lazari from the other families, but you don't know anything about their backstory, and they're all connected in some way. Like, there's this underlying feeling that they're all connected in some way. You just don't know what that way is. So I'm interested to see how this goes. The contributors in this are very long. I'm not going to read all those names. The next few I did get from my comic book store. This is Coyotes Volume 1, and just look at that. Okay. And then the synopsis. Women are going missing in the city of lost girls, a border town in the desert. Officer Frank Coffey is trying to get to the bottom of this when he meets Red, a 13-year-old girl with a katana blade and a mission: murder the werewolves stalking the border and picking women off one by one. When it's discovered that the wolves are the men of those villages, both Red and Officer Coffey are thrown together in a thriller of mythic proportions, with the lives of their friends and loved ones in the balance. Look at the cover. And werewolves. The next that I picked up was Sunstone Volume 1. The only thing that I know about this is that it is a lesbian BDSM graphic novel, and it's both of those are handled well and tastefully. So, and there's a underlying story arc of it too. So yeah, good things. Then I picked up, because I was completely curious, because it keeps getting recommended to me on Amazon, but I've never bought it. I picked up Think Tank, and this is by Matt Hawkins and Rashawn Ekdahl. And yeah, I just wanted to see what this was about. And again, because my comic book store was closing, everything was on sale, so I did not pay however much this was supposed to be. I'll let you know how that goes. Then I got the new Wolverine. No explanation needed. I was not going to go to the new Wolverine because I was offended, and am still extremely sad that Logan is dead. However, after I saw Logan, the movie, I wanted to see what they were going to do with this vicious character, because she kicked ass in the movie. The next thing I picked up is Descender Volume 1. And no, y'all know what this is. I'm totally behind the game on this again. Huge sale at the comic book store, and when I picked it up, my comic book guy got really excited that I picked it up, and I kind of told him, why didn't you tell me that you were this excited before? Because I've heard other people talk about it, but had you told me you were this excited, I'd have picked this up a long time ago. And he was like, my bad. Anyway, the last comic book that I have is the bind-up of the Black Panther collection done by Christopher Priest, which is the Black Panther comics from the 90s, which I read but refused to buy because of some things that had happened with my X-Men comics during that time frame where they disappeared and nobody knew where they went. But yeah, so now I am working on getting this complete collection. So this is volume 1, and this was actually gifted to me by my mom for my birthday. My birthday was in May. So I am super duper excited, just not only to own these, but to own them and reread them. Super excited. Hopefully I won't have another haul anytime soon. These are just the physical books that I've purchased. I'm not even doing a haul of the books that I've purchased on Kindle. I'm not doing that. On to the newer books, or the books that I have bought since that book haul. I went to Goodwill. I was looking for something completely different, but of course I went over to the book section to look at the books, and I picked up The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. I bought another book by her at a library sale at the beginning of this year or early on in the year, and I haven't read that yet, but I paid $1 for that book, I want to say, and I paid $3 for this book, or $2, I don't know. It was worth it to just pick it up because I've heard nothing but good things from the people who've read her stories. And I also came across, this was the prize find of the day, the Xenogenesis trilogy by Octavia E. Butler. I have already read this. I own this in paperback, but I could not believe it when I saw this in Goodwill, and I don't know who gave this up, but I am extremely grateful because now I have another edition, and it's hardback. I didn't even look at the inside to see what the cover looks like. It's just a plain navy blue cover with the tan spine. But yeah, I don't know who gave this up, but I am extremely grateful because now I have another edition and I have it in hardback. Then I went to Barnes and Noble, and from Barnes and Noble I picked up 2 graphic novels and a book. So I picked up Black Panther Volume 4 and Black Panther Volume 5. I am like converting to the graphic novels for Black Panther. I haven't bought Volumes 1 through 3 yet, but I own them in single issues. Eventually I'm going to get 1 through 3. I just haven't done it yet. And I also picked up Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. I love this movie, and I have been waiting and trying to get my hands on this book from the library for literally months, like since 2017. And I just said, forget it. They had 1 copy at Barnes & Noble, and I was just browsing the aisles, and so I grabbed it because I'm tired of trying to get it from the library, so now I own it. And then I ordered Praise Song for the Butterflies by Bernice L. McFadden. I ordered this directly from the publisher, and it is signed. So that's also good. KT has already reviewed this. I have not watched her review yet because I want to read the book before I get what she thought about it. We'll probably be on the same page anyway, but I wanted my own feelings about it when I read the book and not like somebody else's on with that. So I haven't watched any reviews of this just yet, but I will once I finish reading this. And I have procrastinated in reading this because I don't want this to fall victim to the mood that I'm in right now. I want to say the last novel that I finished was Sag Harbor, and that was during 24 and 48. I have not read more than 20 pages in a single book since 24 and 48, except for all of the graphic novels that I read during that time. That's a long time for me, just to give you all an idea. Okay, keep it moving. And then we had a new comic book store to open, which was a replacement for the comic book store that I had been going to that closed. And so their grand opening was August 4th, and I picked up The Beauty, Volume 4. I read Volume 3 during 24 and 48, and I'm just really enjoying this series. If you don't know what it's about a STD that people are trying to get, called The Beauty, because once you get it, it erases all of whatever flaws you have. If you're fat, it makes you skinny. It gives you the perfect, I guess, BMI and structure for the height that you are. If you are scarred, it takes those scars away, but it makes you look better. And then things go wrong. And the first volume is following two characters that are the investigators of some things that are happening with those who have contracted the beauty. And then it goes beyond that to share stories of other people who have the beauty or have been affected by the beauty or don't have the beauty, living in this time period. And I am really enjoying it, the look into the mindset and the thought process of the people during this time, not just the characters, but the people they come in contact with. I am really enjoying this, and I really cannot recommend this high enough, because it's not just one-dimensional, which is what I thought it was going to be. And then I didn't like that it wasn't when I got to Volume 2, but by the end of Volume 3, I was like, nope, this is the way this should be going. So if you're looking for a new graphic novel series to get into, I would highly recommend this. And then from the grand opening, I also picked up Vision Volume 1, which I wasn't really interested to begin with in reading, but I have heard some things from the subsequent issues that make me a little bit intrigued. So I went ahead and picked up Volume 1 to see what I think about this, and then we'll see what happens after I read this. That is the end of all of the haul for books. I got a couple of coloring books and some coloring supplies, but I'm not going to share that here because this is already long enough. So I'm going to go. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend whenever you see this video. Peace out.